Hi, my name is DonGabor, and I've been a Learning Annex teacher for more than 25 years. And I can tell you it is the #1 thing that has influenced my career as an author, professional speaker, and consultant. And if you teach a class for the Learning Annex, it might just do the same for you. In today's presentation, I'm going to talk about PowerPoint and how using PowerPoint slides can enhance your presentation. I'm also going to give you some tips on handouts as well. Now, what's the purpose of a PowerPoint presentation? Now, PowerPoint presentations are done on your computer and they are projected on a screen in your class, or they could be projected on a computer screen for your class. The purpose is to help students learn faster and more efficiently. How does that work? When people are talking and teachers are talking, sometimes students need an extra visual piece of information to help put it all together. Let's say, for example, you're teaching a class on flower arranging. What a great idea. If you have the flowers in front of you and you've got a vase with all the flowers coming out, that's great. You want plenty of those real-life types of examples. But a PowerPoint slide can also show you a whole bunch of examples very quickly. A PowerPoint slide can also give key points to a presentation that the students really need to pay closer attention to. So the benefits are they help the student learn. They also help the teacher keep on track. Now, this is something that sometimes teachers need to do because sometimes they can take a little wide-angle turn on a subject and pretty soon they can get into an area that maybe they really didn't plan on, off subject, something that we really don't want to do. Now, there are some drawbacks to using PowerPoint. A couple of them are these. One is if you are too dependent on your PowerPoint presentation, what's going to happen if the lights go out or the electricity goes out, or somebody, like what happened to me one time, walked across the cord of my computer, pulled out the cord, and everything shut down? My PowerPoint was gone. If you're depending on your PowerPoint presentation to keep your presentation in order and on track, it could be a problem if something goes wrong. Also, sometimes people do things with PowerPoint that really are not conducive to learning. And I'll tell you a few of those common mistakes a little bit later in this segment. Now, how can you use PowerPoint? I think one of the most effective ways to use PowerPoint is to devise visual examples and key phrases for what you want students to learn. Or if you want students to participate in an activity or exercise, you can use PowerPoint to tell them what to do. You put your activity up on your PowerPoint slide. It says, for example, in my conversation class, I might say, take 1 minute and introduce yourself to the person next to you. Now, I can give that as a visual, as an audio instruction, of vocal instruction, but I'll also put that on a PowerPoint slide so people can actually see the instruction as well as hear it. Another way that you can use PowerPoint is to devise 2 different types of examples all in one picture, the right way and the wrong way. You can show somebody smiling as the right way to greet somebody, and somebody frowning as the wrong way. So you can compare different examples of right way and wrong way of doing things. And this is a very effective tool for doing something like that in your class. Now, one thing I want to point out about PowerPoint and all types of technology in your classes, now some of you may not use technology, but many of you will, is you must practice. It's key to know how to change the slide. It's key to know how to block out the slide and even get the slide up on the screen in the first place using the projector. It seems like it might be simple, but if you haven't practiced it and you haven't done it before, it can throw a monkey wrench into the works and it can make your class feel very uncomfortable if something is wrong. And I guarantee you, with technology, have a backup. If you don't know what you're going to do without that PowerPoint presentation, then I suggest having it all written out on a piece of paper with your agenda, so just in case somebody trips across your cord, you're covered. Let's talk just a moment about handouts. Now, handouts are those pieces of paper that you give to your students for a couple different reasons. One is, it helps them know what's coming in the class. So for example, you could hand out an agenda. So in your class, for example, if you are teaching a pottery class, in the agenda you're going to teach people how to buy clay, you're going to teach people how to do X, Y, and Z. Well, the agenda on your handout lets people know the full range of what to expect. Students like to know what's coming. If it's too much of a surprise, then they can feel a little bit uncomfortable. And we'll get to other techniques about making students feel comfortable in your class. But knowing what's coming, it tends to make people feel comfortable. The handout can do that for you. The handout also gives you an opportunity to have people write. People learn and remember by activity. Remember, take action is something that you always want your students to do. So for example, if you're teaching a class on shoe repair, or some kind of home repair. Let's take an example, a plumbing type of repair. And you want people to remember a key phrase or a key element to this type of task. In your handout, you can say the three most important things about repairing a leaky sink, a faucet, was blank, blank, and blank on the handout. And then when you say number 1 is to remove the washer, and they write remove the washer. And number 2 is don't forget to turn off the faucet. That should be number 1, and so on. So a handout gives people the opportunity to actually take the information that you are giving them and use it. Write it down on a piece of paper. This is a value of a handout. Finally, another use for a handout is people can take the information that you're not going to cover in your class and take it home with them and review it later. Think about it later. Some classes are shorter than others. If you've got a 1-hour class or a 3-hour class or even a full-day boot camp, there's probably going to be more information than you can really cover. You may have references to books to read or movies to go see or any number of points to cover that will help the students learn, but that you can't actually talk about in your class, or you just simply don't have the time. Your handout can play a role there. So think about handouts in the use for helping students learn. One last point about handouts. I think the handout is the most important giveaway in your class. I think it's important to give your students something. Let them take something of you away from the class. It has your name on it. It has hopefully your telephone number or your email, your contact information, maybe even a little bio about who you are. They're going to go read that handout again, help them remember what you've taught them, but more importantly, they're going to tell other people about your class, how great it was, and they can even show them something that you've given them. So there's a good reason to create a professional looking handout, not handwritten. It should be really done with a care and a focus that this is something that shows about who you are and the quality of the instruction that you're providing. Now let me just go back to PowerPoint for one more moment. There's 3 really pretty common mistakes that people make using PowerPoint, or handouts for that matter, is they try to put too much information on one page. Oh man, you can see, you can go to a conference and I've seen pictures of PowerPoint presentations, a slide, where you have to have a dictionary to figure out every word that's on the page. If you could see it in the first place, there might be too much information. Your PowerPoint slides, this is kind of a rule of thumb, should have no more than 6 lines. The font should be large enough to be able to read from the back of the room. The words, you should have maybe anywhere from 4 to 6 words per line. So each slide really focuses on one thing. So they're easy to read and that they're not trying to cram too much. Another mistake is people have too many PowerPoint slides. There's an old saying in the speaking business, death by PowerPoint. And what this means is one PowerPoint slide after another, it becomes so much of a, it's almost like you're getting hit in the face with one slide after the other. Students really can't absorb that much information. So keep your PowerPoint slides simple, don't have too many slides, and finally, look at the slide as a little piece of art. Make sure that you don't have too many colors, too many pictures, too much of everything. You can go onto the internet and get some nice little visual pieces of art, even photographs to illustrate what it is that you really want the students to learn. My last point with PowerPoint, visual, more visuals, fewer words make the best PowerPoint slides. That's it for now. I'll see you next time.